Hola, bienvenidos al restaurante La Chingana. Si quieres comer el mejor ceviche y lomo saltado de París, visítanos en La Chingana, de mediodía a 10 de la noche, y también aceptamos reservaciones. Gracias, visítenos en el restaurante La Chingana.
Hola, buenos días, soy Carlitos Belville, te espero en mi tienda en Belville. Ubicada en París 10, Metro Belville, 135, Rue des Faubourgs du Temple. Gracias.
Buenas noches, soy Dhana Bunel y este es Encuentra tu Camino con Dhana. Hoy estaremos entrevistando a Aliyah Orozco, presentadora de televisión, pero sobre todo reportera de deportes. Y no cualquier deporte, un deporte muy masculino, el boxing. Ella viene a contarnos su historia, viene a decirnos qué tan difícil fue para ella justamente estar en este medio tan masculino y luchar contra otros hombres y encontrar su lugar. Al principio siempre nos intentamos focalizar en lo negativo. Ella viene a contarnos cómo focalizarse en lo positivo y en el amor que se está recibiendo. Tal vez pocas personas nos ayudan a seguir continuando a luchar por un sueño. Su camino fue difícil. Los Ángeles y el mundo de los deportes no es nada bueno ni atractivo para las mujeres, y sin embargo ella está mostrando con su ejemplo que nosotras somos capaces de hacer todos, y sobre todo, no solo las mujeres, sino también todos los seres humanos somos capaces de sobrepasar nuestros miedos e ir por nuestros sueños. Hi Aliyah, how are you? So good to see you today. Thank you for being with us. Could you please spell out your name?
Yes, spell my name?
No, tell us about your name. What is your complete name?
Yes, my complete name is Aliyah Marlene Orozco.
Yes,
and thank you so much for having me today.
Aliyah?
Yeah, so I work as a TV host and a sports reporter. I cover boxing. It's been such an amazing journey, and I'm so thankful for my career, but it took a lot to get to this point. I'm still learning and I'm still growing. I'm currently still a student in college at Azusa Pacific University. I'm working to get my business administration degree, but at the same time, I've been working my hardest to try to make my dreams come true, and it's sort of working, which I'm so honored to be even saying that right now. And yeah, I'd love to tell you more about my story.
So I'm very blessed, and thank you so much for being here with us. Aliyah, as you know now, she's a TV host in LA. She is also a reporter in sports, and she is here to talk about her history and about all the resilience that she needs to go through to overcome and to be the person that she is now, a successful person who is the main theme in as his own TV show in LA, and I have the chance to be in her TV show. So thank you so much for being in mine as well today. We're gonna talk about that because we want to, in Find Your Way with Dhana, to give hope to people and to let them know that it's never too late, and you always can go through everything and go and find your dreams and your way. So thank you for being here today and for sharing your story with us. So could you please maybe tell us more about your beginnings, how it was for you to decide to be a reporter in sports?
Yeah. So I actually started off first in TV hosting with the show that you came on, LA TV Network. They actually just evolved to Latin Nation Media now, so that's exciting. But yeah, that's really where I began. So I moved to LA for college, like I said, which that was already really hard for me. That was a big move in my life. I'm super close to my family, so leaving your comfort zone and all your family and friends and going somewhere and stepping into the unknown is really hard, but I think there's also something so beautiful in the unknown. So when I got to LA, I actually hated it. I felt really lonely. I didn't have any friends. I was calling my parents like all the time. I was like, I'm moving back home. I live in NorCal in Vacaville. That's where I grew up. So I thought I was going to leave. But then in that really hard moment, I realized that I could do something I've always dreamt of, which ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a TV host. That's one thing like I always knew. Not necessarily a TV host, I just wanted to be on TV. And I didn't even know to what caliber that would be yet. I just knew I loved people, I loved entertaining, I loved telling stories. And I remember my mom and dad telling me of like, oh, we love that that's your dream, but honestly, it's really hard for people from Vacaville to get on TV. Like that doesn't really happen here. And I knew that, but when I was old enough, I was gonna make the move to LA. So I moved to LA, and like I said, it was kind of hard at first, but I stayed strong, and I realized I was going to use that time to actually work towards my goal of being on TV. Yeah, and I just slowly started. I started interning for some hosts in LA. I did a bunch of free work to get my name out there, to start building my resume, to get more experience. And then eventually I booked my first network job, which was for a Latino Alternative Network, and I'm still with them. That's been the greatest honor. They really developed me as a TV host, and I've been able to cover so many great red carpets for Disney and other fun stuff, which that's been amazing. But then what you asked about, the sports reporting, that one kind of caught me off guard because when I looked at my life, I don't think I would have ever saw myself being a boxing sports reporter. Like if I told myself that at 10 years old, like, hey, you're going to cover boxing, I would have been like, there's no way. But I've always been a fan of the sport. My family has always loved it. I remember being little and coming to my Tia and Theo's house to all watch boxing, and it just really brought people together. Like, everyone gets rowdy when they're watching the sport, and it's just fun. So I ended up getting an opportunity when I was in LA. This was just last year. I covered a red carpet, and it happened to be for Oscar de la Hoya, which Oscar de la Hoya is a boxing Hall of Famer, a gold medalist in the Olympics for boxing, so he is a really huge name in the sport. He also has a promotion himself called Golden Boy Promotions, and that was my first time. So I happened to go to this magazine cover launch, and it happened to be for Oscar, and somebody approached me afterwards, and they were like, I think he would be great for my friend's channel. He has a boxing network. You're a great reporter. So I stayed in contact with him, even though I never met the owner of this business. I stayed really persistent. He didn't have any work for me at first, but 7 months later, and that's why I always tell people, just keep staying persistent if you really want something, because if it's meant for you, it will come to you. So last March, fast forward, I ended up being in New York, and I got an Instagram message from the owner of the business saying, hey, do you want to cover the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis press conference in LA tomorrow? And I'm like, I'm in New York. I don't know how I'm going to make it tomorrow. So at first I was like thinking it wasn't going to happen. But then I called my dad, and he was like, this is a huge fight. This is probably going to be the biggest boxing match of the year. Like, you have to go. Like, me and your mom will help you, even though it's going to be really hard to get there in just one day. So I ended up doing it. I got to LA at like 2 a.m. that next day, and then I already became a boxing reporter overnight, and at 10 a.m. the next day, I literally was at the red carpet with all these boxing Hall of Famers. Amazing. All these NBA and NFL players were coming to this thing. It was this whole sports world that I had like no idea about. And it's always a fun story because they actually told me that when I got there that it would be my audition. So if I wanted to stay in boxing and I wanted to be a reporter, I had to prove to them right now that I could do it and that my numbers would be there. So I was really fortunate. All of my interviews went viral. The boxers really loved me.
Wow.
I just was myself, and it was great because in the comments, people kept saying like, she belongs on a red carpet, because I am like an entertainment reporter, but it kind of is nice because I bring something different, I think, to boxing, which they haven't seen. So I didn't even expect that to work, but it did. And I just got a little bite of what this world could be like, and I never left since. So I really had to fight for my spot in boxing after that. I kept just trying to get as much work as I could. And yeah, before I know it now, I cover for almost all the biggest channels in the sport. I work as a broadcast reporter now too. I've covered for really big networks, and it's just crazy to think that this all just happened in a year for me. I've been able to travel the country, and I've never went out of the country, either has my family, so that was a huge moment for us, for me to fly overseas to be covering a boxing match. So yeah, it's just the greatest honor, but for me, I hope more than anything, people take away from it that you can be anything you've ever dreamt of, even if you aren't currently that. Sometimes it's hard to take that risk and to step into the unknown, even though you don't know what it looks like. But I always tell people that if there's a dream on your heart, that it's
You
not
have to
there
go
by
for
mistake.
it. Yes. So basically
Yeah, it's not by
now,
mistake.
yeah. So basically now you are covering all the box matches sport, who is fantastic for a woman. Could you please tell us how was the acceptance of the people in this milieu, how we say in France? So how the people really accept you? Because if I understand well, they really are accepting you as a sport reporter, especially in this masculine world. How was for you to find your way and yourself in all these areas?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I'm still finding my way, but I've definitely found my way so much more than when I first got into it, because it's hard, like you said. I'm stepping into this world with all these men. It is a male-dominated industry, and I joined the industry when I was 21 years old, so I'm just this young woman trying to step into this man's world, and it's hard. They weren't really accepting of me right away, and I think putting yourself out there was something you never did. People are going to have a lot of criticism. And at first, I think
Scary.
I was lucky. Yeah, it was really scary. People were really nice to me at first. They really liked, I think I was like a breath of fresh air for boxing. But, I've experienced a lot. I've had a lot of people tell me just really mean things, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or she doesn't belong here. Why is this girl in front of the camera? She's annoying, just all these things. And I have to be able to take it. Yes. And know to just keep going. Like I just was actually at a fight in Saudi Arabia in May, and I was just, we all go through our seasons, and I was having a harder week that week. And on my videos, some people were just really mean. And in that moment, I called my parents, and I was like, I don't think I could do this anymore. I was like, I can't do it.
So that was like your point break, like you say, okay, maybe this is not for me. What made you believe again on that dream? What makes you inside of you that may you speak your soul and say, okay, it doesn't matter if they don't accept me, I still want to do this? What was for you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think I had to sit with it for a moment, because it really was hard in the moment, but it's the reward of honestly, like, it's always been in my heart when I'm standing there with a boxer and he just won, and I get to share his big moment with him, and I saw all the preparation he did. It's just like, it comes back to me. It's just such a gift and honor to be there. And then I do get so much love, and I'm so thankful for that. On my Instagram, so many people give me so much support, and on my videos. So it is those small supporters that like really keep me going. But I mean, I just have to remember too that anything you want in life isn't going to be easy. And for me, I'm like, I know it's hard because I'm fighting to break down a door for all these other girls. So I have to do this. Like, I can't give up. I know it's hard for me, but no girls will continue to be in this space if I don't fight for it and I don't take one. So I'm just fighting with all the other women that are in the sport to stay in it, and for men to start realizing we're going to stay here and to start to get used to us. And I feel like they are starting to get used to us. So I've seen so many more girls enter the sport since I've came in, and it's the sweetest thing. I've had girls come up to me recently just telling me that my videos inspire them and they want to do what I'm doing, and they're only like a year or two younger than me, and the fact that I was able to inspire them to actually step into this door, even though there's a lot of criticism, and I see them doing it, it's just like, it makes me just want to keep going.
So basically, if you understand well, you you focus on what is good for you, what it was positive in the experience, and not necessarily in all the criticism that you were receiving. And you try with this experience to inspire people and inspire other women who are trying to follow also this dream. That is a very beautiful thing.
Thank you.
No, but it's true. So what do you think about all these mainly program TV shows that also put down women, because you are standing up and saying, hey, I'm a woman, I'm here, and still I can do a better job, even better than some men in this area. How happened? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, that's actually been a really big point for me, because it's been great for me to see my interviews from last year when I started to now, because I've dedicated my whole life to this sport just so man could not be able to say that. Like, I'm trying so hard to prove them wrong. I take my studying so seriously. I probably study 3 times more than any of these boys do. And I remember for me, it was a really big moment in my career just a few months ago. I studied so hard. I remember I called my dad, I called my guy friends, I was telling them all my questions. I was just so pumped about it. And I got to the press conference and I heard the 2 male media reporters next to me. They had the exact questions that I had, which I mean kind of sucked because we had the same questions. But for me, it was, wow, I prepared the same way you did. We have the same exact alignment of what we're going to ask these boxers. And for me, I felt so accomplished. I'm like, I do belong in this sport. I do know what I'm talking about. I deserve to be here. I work really hard. Just like anything else, when the show you came on, Get It Girl, I study and I practice and I go over all my guests and our topics so I can talk about it in the best way I can. And that's the same with the boxers. I research their whole life, all their matches, everything that could have ever happened. Sometimes I bring stuff up and they're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, because best believe, I know.
Research are key. That we completely agree with that, yes.
Yeah.
So I just want to go back to where you were telling us before about that point break where you were telling to your parents, hey, I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. I know that you try to focus in that moment on all the positive and all the love that you were receiving and all the acceptance, but what was like the main point on you who made you say, okay, it doesn't matter what happened, I want to continue to go and follow this dream?
I think I love it so much. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, and I'm seeing the progress. And I think it's so nice to have these goals and see your progress in it. It's so rewarding for you, honestly, and it just makes me want to work harder. And I just do have to realize that, like, I always think of, like, if I want to get to the next level, how is, like, God or the universe or whatever you believe in going to be able to take me to the next level if I can't even deal with these little haters right now on these videos or these little comments? If I let the little comments just make me turn away and run away, I can't even get to where I want to be. So I have to learn how to take the criticism and know that I don't find my value and my worth and dignity in that. I know that who I am, and I know that those comments don't define me. So all I could do is keep putting my best foot forward and being who I am, and the right people will love it, and the people that don't, and that's okay. And I think for me, I had to learn that. That's always been really hard for me, is I'm a people pleaser, so I want, like, everybody to like me, and sometimes not even, like, I just love people, so it's hard for me sometimes to understand it when I'm nice to you, like, why not? What did I do wrong? But I've really had to learn in this sport to just, like, grow a backbone, and I think I needed that. I think I really needed to learn how to stand up for myself and to have boundaries and to know that other people's opinions of me don't define who I am. And I think once we learn that and realize that we're okay even without these people thinking that we're the best thing in the world, you start to just, like, go about life better because it doesn't matter anymore. And I realized I put my value so much on what the rest of the world thought about me, and I don't feel that pressure anymore.
I completely relate on that, to be honest. I'm myself a people pleaser. I think all TV hosts, we are a little bit of a people pleaser because we want to share all the love that we have inside with others, if I may say. And I absolutely love your story because it's about that. It's about the way when you find yourself and you know what you want and you know your worth, it's more easy to share the love that you have inside with others. And it's more easy as well to find your own way in this life, your own path, and follow that dream, even against all odds. And this is about this. It's about resilience women like you who are doing something different outside because they found themselves and they say no to this anymore, not to the people pleaser anymore. I want to be myself. I want to show the world who I really am inside. And when we do that, if maybe you can say it as well, you find that people accept you as you are. And for me, it's the most beautiful thing ever to happen. What do you think?
No, wow. No, I definitely agree with that because I think too, as a TV host, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but for me, it really took some time finding my own voice in sports reporting and TV hosting because I think there's a lot of comparison. I would watch other boxing reporters and be like, I need to be more like her, or why don't I sound like this, or why am I not like this? But then I realized all the things that make me different is really what makes me unique and what makes people drawn to me. And I didn't realize that. Like, there was things that I had some men tell me actually last year in my career. Again, I had another defeated moment that I was questioning if I should even be a TV host again. And I had to juggle with that. But he basically told me I wasn't serious enough, that my interviews were too, I don't know, I guess just not serious enough. And it really got to my head. And I tried to change my reporting and be a certain way. But then I realized that's not what people loved me for. People loved me for what I did with the boxers, that I'm able to break them down and you're able to see this different side of them that's more goofy and more funny and more loving in their real personality instead of them being so hard all the time with what we see. So I had to realize that that was actually my strength, and now I'm owning it. Like I was definitely trying to resemble other people or change my hosting style, but I'm really confident now in who I am and what I'm bringing to the table. And me booking my first broadcast job just 2 months ago made me realize that that is my gift, because the woman actually told me, the producer, that she found me on TikTok and she picked me over everybody because of my interviewing style with the boxers. And I was like, wow, like to think that I was going to change who I was and become more serious like everybody else. But really that's what ended up booking me the television job.
Yes, exactly, because that is your essence. That is who you really are as a person. You want to give people a laugh. You want the people to be fun, feel good with you, and not only to treat like these difficult matters that are always difficult for everyone, you know. So I believe that you bring happiness in your interviews with people, and I think that's why people rely on you and people are so drawn to you. And I think it's something that you really need to focus on, and you know, and keep it, because it's, for me, it's your essence. So I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that you really own yourself, you own who you are, and you are willing to share this with the world and tell to others. It's good to be different, because your difference is the most important thing of you, is gold.
Yeah, exactly, that part. I love that.
So yes, so thank you so much, Aliyah, for being with us today and for sharing all this history with us. And I think that a lot of people are going to find themselves in your story, and are going to find this resilience and this inspiration and this hope just to follow their dreams, no matter what. No matter what art you are doing, it's always a good thing to follow your dreams. So thank you so much for being with us today. I know you are busy, and I know you're gonna have to go because you have a plane to take, but many thank you for being the person who you are and to share this with the world.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for having me on here and giving me a platform to share my story. And for all of you guys, I hope you guys did take something from my story today. More than anything, I want my life to be an example for you guys to go after your dreams, and it actually can happen. And I'm living proof of it. Just 3 years ago, I was literally just like trying to start this and figure it out, and I had no idea. And now I'm living it, and it can happen for you guys too if you believe in it. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I love your show and everything you're doing. You have such a beautiful heart, and I'm so thankful you came on my show too.
This is your house. You are welcome to come back every time, especially if you have more projects. We will be happy to hear about it. And we wish you the best. And I'm a fan, so I always watching LA TV and now all your matches, because I believe you are one person who brings happiness in my life. And I want to keep you in my life just because that is perfect for me.
You
So
too, girl.
so
You
much.
too.
See you. Love you. Love you.
So
Send you a
much.
lot of kisses.
Love you.
And we talk soon. Bye. Take
Yes,
care.
thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Much love.
Bye. So, estuvimos con Aliyah Orozco, que nos estuvo comentando justamente sobre las dificultades que es ser presentadora de televisión, pero sobre todo reportera de deportes en un medio tan masculino como lo es el mundo del boxing. Nos contó cómo varias veces llamó de urgencia a sus padres diciéndole que tal vez no era su camino, que tal vez todos los comentarios y las cosas negativas que le decían eran para recordarles que no era capaz justamente de enfrentarse con otros hombres en estos medios tan difíciles. Sin embargo, ella continuó porque prefirió justamente concentrarse en la parte positiva de todo el amor que estaba recibiendo y que tal vez no veía porque se estaba simplemente concentrando en lo negativo. Concentrarse en las cosas positivas que nos pasan es también un símbolo de resiliencia que nos da fuerzas para seguir continuando a cubrir y a ir por nuestros sueños. Esto es Encuentra tu camino con Dhana y nos encontramos todos los jueves a las 10 de la noche, hora París. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros y los vemos el próximo jueves a las 10 de la noche con un nuevo invitado, con otra historia de resiliencia y de esperanza para todos. Muchas gracias y buenas noches.
Hola, buenos días, soy Carlitos Belville, te espero en mi tienda en Belville. Ubicada en París 10, Metro Belleville, 135, rue des Faubourgs du Temple. Gracias.
Hola, bienvenidos al restaurante La Chingana. Si quieres comer el mejor ceviche y lomo saltado de París, visítanos en La Chingana, de mediodía a 10 de la noche y también aceptamos reservaciones. Gracias, visítenos en el restaurante La Chingana.